largest donor, and you're polling low double digits from what I've seen. Your opponents are raising millions, and you've raised less than 200,000. How do you assure voters that you have the campaign infrastructure needed to be a competitive?
Yeah. Well, we have upwards of 20 people working on this campaign. We have professionals, young folks. We have all the infrastructure, technology. So the campaign we're running is a special campaign. What I would say about the money, a lot of that money is just going to be spent against each other negatively. It's just going to sort of counteract each other. And they would say, look what happened in Michigan, right? I mean, you had a Senate candidate win the primary, who got spent almost 15 to 1. I'm not saying that money doesn't matter in politics, it clearly does. But I think in this situation we have two, at the same time, the announcement between two somewhat of the team candidates. There's been a lot of negativity against each other. People are really looking for something new. People see this opportunity. The largest group of voters in the district, like I said, are independent, and we're running the campaign for it. Like I said earlier, our social media have had 1 million views in 10 days. So people are interested.
You propose requiring site-neutral billing, which has been in the news a bit lately. Hospitals will tell you that those rates are necessary for our mission. Right? What your response to that?
Look, like I said on the stage, healthcare is an issue where what it's really going to take is getting together to solve these problems. Right now, the parties are still going to talk. They're so far apart. I think I Lori, on the lowest here, I in a comment deal with her on X about healthcare, where look with the party candidates, what you're going to get is whatever the special interest of the party votes for, regardless of how complicated or attractive their plan is. A lot of times you're selling sort of pie in the sky solution, when in reality it's going to be a rubber stamp party line vote. And what we need is people who are going to the House and are really willing to work with both sides.
We just saw Marionette Miller Meeks roll out a new ad talking about how she plans on taking on Big Pharma. I guess your response to that?
I believe she's received $600,000 or more in funding from pharma special interests. From my understanding, I could be wrong about that number, but that's my understanding. It's just politics, right? It's the same thing we always see. These politicians are literally going to say whatever they can to try to get elected. I just read that nationally Republicans polled that it's better for them to talk about healthcare than to say that. So they're just following the instructions from the top to say, hey, you got to talk about healthcare, make whatever promises that we can make just to get elected. But look what we're all experiencing. You guys experience the same healthcare system I do.
Right. I guess her response to that would be, well, look at my record of supporting legislation to try and promote accountability, transparency with pharmacy benefit managers. She would argue are acting as middlemen that are driving up costs that are forcing small rural local pharmacies to close. She would talk about the $50 billion secured and the one big beautiful bill for rural health transformation. I guess how would you respond to those?
Yeah, in the big beautiful bill, there was obviously a lot of negative impacts to rural healthcare as well. I'm not saying that she's not advocating for that, but I just view her as, a backbench party line vote. That's where what I was saying earlier. You have a few independents in the House, then their votes are needed for a House Speaker, like I was talking about the rules, or on any important legislation. That's where we could make a lot. Look, the one big beautiful bill is passed by one vote. She could use her one vote as leverage to get some of those things done. She didn't, right? She just followed the party line like all the other Republicans are voting for. As an independent candidate, I'm not in that position.
So do you support reversing the Medicaid changes in the big beautiful bill?
Yeah, I think
like the work on eligibility.
Yeah, I think that was unfortunate timing given everything happening in the economy right now, the affordability issues that we face. I would not have supported that. I also, on the big beautiful bill, just what it did, I talked about the fiscal situation is one of my most important issues. That's added $5 trillion to our debt. And again, as an independent candidate where you could really make a difference, I view it as how you can impact the bill to make it something you vote for versus just yes or no vote.
So you would have voted against it, including the tax cuts?
As it stood, I would have, but I would have tried to leverage my position to, if I could, make it better for an average person versus just people at the very top.
Did you choose to run for Congress because you're satisfied with the dynamics in state government or county government, or is it also have the same problems that you've been talking about today?
It's a good question. I think one of the, again, I talked about the number out there, the margin of the House too, where a couple people can make a really large impact. I think in the state house, given it's more lopsided, I don't think an independent candidate can really make that same impact. But for me, we're seeing this opportunity right now, and also I think nationally we face a lot more serious issues than we do in the state. We have a $1.3 billion deficit here. We run that up every 3 or 4 hours nationally. Just the state of our national politics is in disarray. It's time for a change. I think 2026 is time to go.
You have a background in hog farming. What are your thoughts on things like Prop 12 and like Republicans Save Our Bacon?
I'm not a fan of the Save Our Bacon. I think it's geared more towards the large corporate farmer. Like I said, I grew up on a family farm, 500 acres. It used to be a big farm. Now it's a small farm. And that's who I'd be running to represent, the small family farmers. I know the Iowa Farmers Union, I believe, came out against that. I respect them. So I'm not on board with that.
Would you have voted for the farm bill that came out of the House? Or how do you feel about the farm bill that stalled in the Senate Ag Committee?
Laura, again, I've repeated this, being an independent, if our vote really is crucial to get things in there to make it better. I mean, it's a tough situation because we just desperately need a farm bill. It's been, since 2018? But, I mean, these are tough issues, like the Save the Bacon Act being in there. And on the other thing I would tell you, Laura, is with the campaigning and the schedule I'm on, I haven't had a chance to read every single detail of that to get that into.
Point of clarification, you said 20 people are working on your campaign. Does that include consultants, or are you talking about 20 full-time people on your campaign?
It's right now volunteers, staff.
Volunteers, okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned affordability as an issue, but what policies would you say are the answer to cost of living issues in American society?
Yeah, I mean, easy thing would be getting out of some of these trade wars, getting more consistency in our trade policy. Again, I go back to the fiscal stuff. We printed $8 trillion in the last 6 years. And again, it took us from the start of the country in 2009 to print $8 trillion. So when you just add more money to the system, things are going to go up in cost. That's why literally everything's up. I mean, you could say the stock market's up based on that, housing prices, rent, groceries, utilities. Neither party is seriously talking at all about addressing the fiscal situation. It's not going to be easy. You're not going to go from a $2 trillion a year deficit to a balanced budget in 1 year. But right now we're going in the wrong direction. We're going to start going in the right direction. Because if we have to keep printing money the way we are, let's say the next 6 years we print another $8 trillion, we're not going to be talking about $20 billion, we're going to be talking about $40 billion. That to me is the number one factor.
So you would exert more congressional oversight over tariff?
Yeah. I mean, I think that Congress has abdicated far too much power to the executive branch. I think Congress was, meant to be first among equals by the founders, and that's where again I think that's a two-party issue. I think both parties have done that. I think independents, if we could have a caucus in the middle to truly unite either side of the majority, we can help try to put some of that power back to Congress. And it's pretty clearly stated in the Constitution about where tariffs reside, and that's Congress.
Would you have voted for the war powers resolutions to restrict what the president is doing with Iran?
Yeah, I think I would have. I mean, I just, when we first got in there, my initial thought was it's easy to get in and it's so hard to get out, and look at the situation that we're in now. And obviously it has a big impact here in Iowa with, fertilizer prices, just with everyday inflation at the gas pump, diesel prices. I mean, now unfortunately, there's just no clear path out of that. I don't know that the Strait of Hormuz is ever going to go back to normal, and that's such a vital choke point in the global economy. It's unfortunate that we entered that war, and we desperately need to get out of it. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.